What's up, YouTube? It is 12:02 on December 22nd on Wednesday in Nashville, Tennessee, and I am coming to you with a lock update / lock journey, whatever you want to know. You know, any questions, anything like that. So let's get right into it.
Yours, mine, ours. I could do this for hours. Sit and talk to you for hours. I wanna give you your flowers and some champagne showers.
I started my locks June 7th of 2020, and it is 2021, of course, in December. So I've had my locks for about a year and 6 months. I started my locks with coils, so they were coiled up, and now they look kind of like... I have changed my locks, you know, a couple times as far as dyeing them. I've combined only maybe one, literally. So I started with 66, so I might have like 65 now, or I might have went up. I might have went to 67, either way. I'm still in the 65 to 70 range of locks. I've dyed them, I want to say 3 times. The first time I just did a couple. I did highlights. I did brown highlights, and it was every so couple of them. You can still kind of tell that some of them are darker than others. I redid the highlights, but I did more, so then more of them were offset. Recently, I dyed my whole head orange, burgundy, red. I don't even know the color. It was Cajun. I dyed my whole head Cajun recently for my birthday, October the 5th in 2021. On June 7th, 2020, I had coils. These were the coils. They were short, and let me say this, I had heat damage to my natural hair before I started my locks. So I cut most of the heat damage off before I started my locks. My hair probably went to the length of where my locks are now. I cut it all the way up to probably like right here, just to get rid of all the heat damage so I could start over and start natural and have a good pattern of my hair. When I first started my journey, my locks looked rough. Well, they weren't even, when they weren't locked, they looked kind of, they just looked soft. You know, as some people would say, they look like white people dreads. I wouldn't say that, but they just kind of look, well, they still do look that way, but they look even more different. Like, they look unique. And I had a hard time going on YouTube and finding people with the same hair that I had, like the hair texture and all that stuff. So I literally had to wing my own journey. So that's why I'm making this video, so that if you have hair texture like me, it's kind of like, I don't know the numbers and all of that stuff. I don't know any of the letter number, like, you know, the texture of hair, because mine wouldn't even fit in a specific category, if that makes sense. Like, my hair was different in different spots. So I literally had to just go in for it and just see how it would have turned out. I was retwisting my hair every, like, almost every month. Sometimes I would do it every 3 weeks, literally in the beginning, because it wasn't locked yet. So like every little thing that I did to my hair, it would unravel. And a lot of people were saying that that's because I didn't let it dry. But with my hair, literally, like, the steam in the shower would make it unravel and things like that. So I had to literally retwist it probably every 3 weeks. And I was retwisting it myself, so I was getting in the habit of doing my own hair and maintaining it myself. In this video, you can see my hair isn't locked up yet. Literally, the curl pattern is still at the ends. Even if I had unraveled the beginning with like the top of it a little bit, it probably would have unraveled. It would look like regular hair here, even though it kind of looks locked up a little bit. In some areas, mainly like the middle of my head, they locked up a lot faster than the ends of my hair. When I first started my dreads, with my locks, I was kind of insecure about them, only because they looked really rough. Like, my locks were like, whew. If you had seen me somewhere, you would have been like, whoa, her hair looks a mess. It did look a mess, I'm not gonna lie. But they always say you go through an ugly phase before you get to the luxurious locks. So I went through my ugly phase, and my ugly phase was really rough, and I appreciate it though, because it gave me more confidence. I feel more confident rocking my locks now because I went through a phase where it was like, I don't care what nobody got to say about my hair, because I have no choice but to go through it. Like, I couldn't speed up the process, and I didn't want extensions. So it was like, either I'm gonna comb these out and I'm gonna go back to regular hair, or I'm just gonna have to deal with the talk and deal with the like messiness and all that. People who would talk to me every day when I got locks in that beginning stage didn't even talk to me. That's how like ugly of a phase I went through for my locks. I did go through a time too where I was putting wigs on top of my locks, and I have had faux locks on top of my locks also. I'll show y'all pictures of that, and I'll get into that too. March 4th, these were my locks. They were growing. You know, once you get out of your really bad ugly phase, you will hit a spurt. Well, not everybody, I don't know everybody, but I hit a spurt. Like, literally, length was the only thing that was happening at that time for me around March. I was retwisting my own locks, so I'll retwist them a lot probably. And most of these videos you're gonna see when they were looking good is because I was retwisting too much. March 5th, literally the day after I did a retwist on my hair, I was asked to do a video about my locks and talk about my lock journey. I'm gonna insert some of that video in here. That video is pretty long, so I'll just do a little clip. March was the time where I really started to fall in love with how my locks looked. I started getting more compliments on my locks. You know, they had a nice texture to them, I will say that. So a lot of people were like, ooh, you know, you starting locks, they look good because of the texture that I was forming. Like, it was literally, I think it was because my ends weren't locked yet, they were still curly, and like my hair was still soft. As you can see now, it kind of looks more rough. My hair was really, really soft because it hadn't fully locked up yet. My hair kind of just looks normal. It just looks like I parted it, did a little, and then left the rest of it hanging out, even though I was literally trying to lock my hair up. Which this is how a lot of people started, I believe. This is how a lot of people's locks look once they're first starting. So yeah, March was my prime month for sure. From when I really started feeling them. Like, I really think I really was getting into the way they look. April 8th was the first day I actually tried a bun with my locks. My forehead looked so big. It looked huge, but the bun, it was complete. So it's like, as you can see, the ones in the back are still falling out a little bit, but the fact that the rest of it was in a bun, I didn't care about none of that. I was like, I got inches now. Like, what? When I first started wearing my little lock cap, it's the one that I wear now. It goes probably like down to right here, and it just wraps the whole lock. At this time, literally it could fall and all of my locks would be in it. Now my locks have grown to the point where my locks still stick out even though it is hanging down. In this picture you'll see I don't have it completely down. I have it like folded halfway because literally it would like cover all my locks. One problem I did have with my locks was the ones that were in the front type, like right here in the middle, they were shorter. They were short and they had heat damage, so they kind of looked a little rough. Hair looks really matted and it looks dreaded up, but it doesn't look locked up. Does that make sense? Dreaded and locked. I can't really get into the difference in dread and locked because I have multiple opinions on it, and I've heard multiple people say different things about it and I agree with. So sometimes when people call my locks dreads, I'm like, okay, they're dreads, whatever. You know, like, I don't have a strong opinion on locks or dreads, you know what I mean? But here, my hair looks dreaded. It looks matted up, but it doesn't look like individually locked in the middle here. Like I said, I was retwisting my hair every 3 weeks, almost every 3 to 4 weeks, and in that picture I had gone that was the first time I had gone maybe a month and a half without retwisting my hair, and it was because I wanted to see if it would help it. I wanted to see if it would help the growth process, and I wanted to see what would change if I waited a little longer. So that was the first time I actually took that time and took that risk. All right, so in this picture you can see me retwist. It's a half retwist. Literally my hair does not look locked up at all up in the bun. It looks like it's just a regular bun with my messy hair, like. But you can see as I'm retwisting, you can see there's parts and stuff like that. Of course, there were parts eventually. The ends, you can see, weren't even locked up. They were still curly. They were still like regular hair. I probably could take a comb through them. I was combing my ends out at one point, only because I like the way the curly ends looked. As you can see, haven't done that in a while. They look locked completely at the ends. May, I got faux locks on top of my locks. And a lot of people ask me all the time, how was the process of you having faux locks on top of your locks, and did they help them when you took them out? Took the faux locks out, I think that it helped them lock up better, if I say that. The texture of my hair had changed to the point where it was like, well, when I took them down, let me just say this, they were very thin. But once I washed them, they, you know, poofed back up, and it just looked like they were very healthy. It looked like they had been locking up under the faux lock. So I would say if you are someone who unlocks, get the faux locks. I did have a hard time taking the faux locks down, but only because my hair was already parted and it needed a retwist under the faux locks. So it was just a little harder. The girl who did my locks, her name is Brooklyn. I'll leave her info in here because she did a really good job as far as putting them on top of my locks, and for them to be her first time doing faux locks on top of real locks. I trusted her with it, and she got it done. So I kept them in for about 2.5 months. They did me justice over the summer. Once the middle got a little messy and the front got a little messy, that's when I took them down. This was right after I took them down. Literally, this was the first picture I took once I took the faux locks down. I had amazing growth. They got longer and they just looked more healthy, I would say that. These pictures are literally from when, right after I finished taking all of them down. It took me a good minute though to take them down, I would say. This was after the wash, right before the retwist. As you can see, they look like they're about the length that I have right now, which locks do their own thing. Sometimes they grow down, sometimes they grow thicker. Like sometimes they'll stay the same length, but they'll be growing in one area. They're always growing in different ways. They're never just not growing. As you can see, even after I took those down, they weren't fully still locked, especially at the ends. At the ends, you can still see they're loose and they look like they can still be combed out, really, but right here up in the root area, you couldn't comb those for sure. In this video, my hair, it looks different. It looked good, but it looked different. So this is where people would consider my hair to look like white people locks, or whatever you want to say about them. They did look a little soft. They looked really soft. I mean, I say a little. My dreads looked very soft and like, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but you see in the video they look more soft. I'm gonna skip a little bit down to where I dye my hair. I don't want this to be too. So I'm skipping a little bit. September, which was recent. It was very recent. September, I really had a boast for my locks. Once I started getting more compliments on my locks and more people like reassured me that I was going in the right direction for my locks, and they actually started to look really put together as locks. That's when I started being more confident. I started wearing more hairstyles. I started changing them up a little bit. Here you can see I had a half up, half down. I know the picture is kind of blurry here, but you still see my hair enough to where you know. I had literally almost the hairstyle I have right now is what I had almost in this picture. October 4th, I dyed my hair Cajun. I did this because it was about to be my birthday and I wanted something different. I just wanted to look a little different. I've always thought about putting a wig on them again and all that stuff, but I'm like, I'm tired of doing that. I want to rep, I want to step, I want to be able to show them off, so I dyed them. Some of them looked more red, and it was only because, like I said in the beginning, I did highlights a while back. Here, as you can see, they look kind of the same from when I took them down out of the faux locks. They just have a little color to them, a little tint to them. That Cajun, it was very cute on my hair. As you can still kind of see it, but it looked kind of faded. It's just kind of washed out a little bit. I've washed it a couple times. So October the 10th, this is what my hair looked like. You can still see that Cajun color in my hair. I had it pulled up in the front, some hanging down in the front too, and half in the back. If anything, I always do the half in the back and some of it in the front. I'll never do full. I don't know if I just haven't got to that stage yet, but so far I haven't, and I don't know how much I like pulling all my hair out yet. So I'm now at the point where I had 2-strand twists. This was the first hairstyle I've had other than just getting a regular retwist. I'm glad I did. I got to see that I could actually have that hairstyle. I liked it. At first I wasn't feeling it because I don't like my hair to look too small, and they look really small and short all over my head. I didn't really like that, but I got used to them eventually. Started pulling them up sometimes, doing different things to them. So once I adjusted to them, I liked them. 2 strands kind of looked a little lengthy now that I'm looking at it. All right, December 15th. These were my locks December 15th. Today is December 22nd. When I say my locks look different every day, you see them now. They look the same, but they kind of look different every day. I guess it also depends on the style that I'm doing. Also, they change. With that being the last picture, this is them today, December 22nd. This is how they look. So y'all can see. This is what my hair looks like. It needs a wash, but we'll get into that. It needs some oil too. But one thing I will say, if you get locks, keep them oiled, keep them maintained. Find somebody who can do your locks. I found somebody who I trust doing my locks now on campus. Yeah, find somebody who can do your locks. Find somebody who can tame them and keep it pushing. Thanks for watching. I hope you come back and watch again. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if y'all want more videos like this on locks. There are a lot of questions about people who want to start their locks, who have questions method as far as coils and twists. I started with coils. As far as dyeing, I feel like you can dye your locks just as you would dye your hair. Just be careful oil it, take care of it when you're dyeing it. Don't be washing it too much. If anything, put conditioner in it, but don't just wash it just to wash, you know. Like, comment, and subscribe.